Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Wahyu Sharing Information. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Wahyu Febriansyah. I am from Faculties Economics and Business, Jambi University. I am from class Management R6. Now, I want to present to you, or I want sharing to you about the theory in economics. The name of the theory is Modern Monetary Theory, or also we know as MMT. So, there's a question. What is MMT? What is the MMT? Now, in here, we will learn about it. Check this out. So, Modern Monetary Theory. Modern monetary theory is a heterodox macroeconomics framework that says monetarily sovereign countries like US, UK, Japan, Canada are not operationally constrained by revenues when it comes to federal government's spending. In other words, such governments do not need taxes or borrowing for spending, since they can print as much as they need are the monopoly issuers of the currency. From Wikipedia, modern monetary theory is a macroeconomic theory and practice that describes the practical use of fiat currency in a public monopoly from the issuing authority, normally happen in the government central bank. Effects of employment are used as evidence that a currency monopoly is overly stretching the supply of the financial assets needed to pay taxes and satisfy savings desires. MMT is an evolution of cartelism and is sometimes referred to as neo-cartelism. Its macroeconomic policy perception have been described as being a version of Abba Lerner's theory of functional finance. So, I will make the simple meaning for you. The simple meaning from modern monetary is this is a new theory in economics that says that the government does not need to focus too much on fiscal balance and can print as much as money they needed. So, like our country can printing the money how many we need, but after that we need to thinking about the course with the dollars too. But the MMT challenge the conventional beliefs about the ways the government interacts with the economy, the nature of money, the use of taxes, and the importance of budget deficit. These beliefs, supporters say, are a hangover from the gold standard era and are no longer accurate, useful, or necessary. MMT is used in a policy debates to argue for more progressive legislation like universal healthcare and other expensive public programs for which governments claim to not have enough money for. So, next we will learn about core principle from modern monetary theory. The core principle from modern monetary theory. The central idea of MMT is that governments with a fiat currency system can and should print or create with a few keystrokes in today's digital age as much money as they need to spend because they cannot go broke or be insolvent unless a political decision to do so is taken. Traditional thinking say such spending would be fiscally irresponsible as the debt would balloon and inflation would skyrocket. But according to MMT, large government debt isn't the precursor to collapse we have been led to believe. It is countries like US can sustain much greater deficits without causes for concern. And in effect, a small deficit or surplus can be extremely harmful and cause a recession since deficit spending is what buildings people's savings. M.Pd theorists explain that the national debt is simply money the government put into the economy and didn't tax back. They also argue that comparing a government's budgets to that of an average household is a mistake, while supporters of the theory acknowledge that inflation is theoretically a possible outcome from such spending. They say it is highly unlikely and can be fought with a policy decisions in the future if required. They often cite the example of Japan, which has much bigger, higher public debt than the US or United States. According to M.Pd, the only limit the government has when it comes to spending is the availability of real resources like workers, constructions, supplies, etc. When government spending is too great with respect to the resources available, inflation can surge if decision makers are not careful. Taxes create an ongoing demand for currency and are a tool to take money out of an economy that is getting overheated, says M.Pd. This goes again the conventional idea that taxes are primarily meant to provide the government with money to spend to build infrastructure, fund social welfare programs, etc. So, the next is about origins of M.Pd or the history of M.Pd. So, before we learn more about it, we need to know about the story of M.Pd. The origins of M.Pd. M.Pd was developed by American economist Warren Mosler and bears similarities to the older schools of thought like functional finance and cartelism. Mosler first began thinking about some of the concepts that from the theory in the 1970s. When he worked as a Wall Street trader, he eventually used his ideas to place some smart bets at the hedge fund he founded. In the early 1990s, when investors were afraid Italy would default, Mosler understood this wasn't a possibility. His firm and his clients became the largest holders of Italian lira denominated bonds outside of Italy. Italy did not default and they made $100 million in profits. Wow. Mosler, who has Bachelor of Art in Economics from the University of Connecticut, was largely ignored by the academic world when he tried to communicate his theories. In 1993, he published a seminal essay called Soft Currency Economics, and he shared it on a post-Keynesian listserv, which is where he found others, like Australian economist Bill Mitchell, who agree with him. Support for M.Pd grew in large part thanks to the internet, where the economists explained the theory on popular personal and group blogs. The idea of a trillion-dollar coin was widely discussed, and supporters shared a clip of former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan saying, "Pay as you go, pay as you go." Benefits aren't insecure because there's nothing to prevent the federal government from creating as much money as it wants and paying it to somebody. Political leaders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders have espoused M.Pd, and economist Stephanie Kelton, who first came across Mosler's ideas on the listserv and is now arguably the face of the theory, served as chief economic advisor to Sanders during his 2016 presidential campaign. In Indonesia itself, one of the initiators of modern monetary theory is Mardigo Wobik, or commonly known as Bosman Sontoloyo. He is a person who is brave and often clearly speaks and proposes about this MMT to be used in our country, in Indonesia. He is one of my idols in the business world. He mentioned that in MMT theory, in reducing dependence on the dollar, this theory won the creation of a currency that is dinar with an underlying goal, so that in the end of the rupiah had strength and stability. In addition, this step must also be supported by policies that can guarantee the strength of the rupiah through increased productivity. The step to reduce deficit through the de-dollarization according to the modern monetary theory or MMT. The initiator, Mardigowi, is quite difficult to do, he said. So MMT provoked and advised the government to strengthen foreign exchange reserves with gold and dinars. So that's it, the explanation or the sharing about the modern monetary theory from myself. I'm sorry for mistake in this video. See you in another video. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a nice